How are you?
Evening. I'm well. How are you?
Very, very good.
Good.
It certainly came chucking it down a few minutes ago. I don't know if it rained on you as well.
I think the weather's teasing us, right?
Yes, because of course now the sun is streaming in through the window, and
Exactly.
I'm like, there's not a cloud in the sky. But
That's it. But I spotted a rainbow actually early on. So I was looking all day for the rainbow and then I found it. I was like, yes.
amazing, amazing.
Mm.
So, tell me a little bit about you. I know it's a difficult question because there's so much to tell, but what
Yeah.
got you into this whole idea of being this coach?
Well, I'm a spiritual life coach. I'm a
Mm,
psychic medium. I do theta healing. I do angelic Reiki. And I started Infinite Essence Nimi, my business, about 3 years ago. But my spiritual journey started around 8 years ago. So I was never spiritual.
okay.
Most of my life, never been spiritual. And in fact, within my family, I was probably the one that was least spiritual.
So when you talk about being spiritual, what do you mean from a sort of family background? Was it particular faith or
My
modality or
my definition of being a spiritual person is just knowing that there is something beyond your body and your mind,
mm.
and that can be a thing, or the universe or whatever it is that you have that trust in, and that then becomes your North Star, your guiding force.
So until 8 years ago, there was nothing, just the
So
human.
I've always been religious.
Okay.
So I'm a Hindu by faith,
Mhm.
and I have a deep trust in the various Hindu gods that we have.
Yeah.
So that's always remained with me. But I guess what I mean is that I lived very much in the 3D world.
Okay. Yeah.
So quite materialistic, had a fairly good life and didn't really have the need to ask deep questions about life.
And
Um,
that makes perfect sense because I think most people can relate to that. Is that the you have this sort of faith or religion that you brought up with, and you just take on those beliefs that your parents taught you, perhaps, or you saw from going to the various temples, and maybe. Did, did you have any encounters with the Hindu gods and goddesses, the deities?
Not that I can recall as such, and this is the thing, right? Now, obviously, I'm very much in touch with all of that, and I see all sorts of things happening. And perhaps they did when I was younger, but I was almost blocked them out in some ways.
It's interesting you say that because I think most people have those experiences very early on, and
Mm,
then they sort of get into the schooling system, and the friends aren't talking about it, and then all those things that you saw or felt or experienced get shut down, don't they?
that's right. That's right. And in fact, like, when I say I was least spiritual, I've got two sisters, and they were far more spiritual than I was, and they used to go and visit tarot card readers and psychics,
Really?
all sorts. And sometimes they'd do it behind my back because each time they'd tell me, I'd say, "Well, why are you doing that? What's your reason? Why do you have to ask them for guidance?" And I just used to dismiss it all, really.
Well, in fact, that's a very interesting question you asked. That why did you have to ask somebody else for the advice that's probably inside of you already?
Yes,
So very, very wise in that moment.
true, true, yeah. But I think that was very when I was living very much in 3D and kind of surface. Um, I guess with my dad sort of transitioning from this physical life, that's when I started to ask the deeper questions about life. And by that I mean, why am I here? What's my purpose? What's life all about? So yeah, that's was the beginning of my spiritual journey.
And so that took you down a journey, obviously, of questioning, asking yourself, were
Yeah.
there any sort of modalities that you were drawn to, or did you go back to more focus on the Hinduism side of things?
So
Or
during my dark days, when I was going through grief, and I'm still going through grief. But I guess during the early stages, I was very much in my mind. And somebody suggested to me yoga. They said, you try yoga because it's a good modality to just stop you from overthinking, ruminating, and, just using your mind too much, and just allow your sort of, allow for yourself to drop into your body, let's say. I'd never done yoga before, and I thought, yeah, I'll give anything a go. And so I started yoga classes. And I was really fortunate at the time that the yoga teacher that I was with was spiritual. And she used to do meditations at the beginning and at the end of each of her sessions, only 5 minutes each.
Yeah, yes.
And a few months into doing that on a regular basis, I started to see the benefits off the mat. So on the mat, my postures were improving. But then off the mat, I could really start to see that it was making a difference to how I was coping with things.
There's really something magical about stretching the body into strange poses that does something spiritually, isn't that?
Yeah. Yes, yeah. And we hold a lot of our emotions in our body. And so, those hip openings or whatever it is, just then allow for you to flow that energy, through your body. I really feel so.
And also the release, isn't there? I guess it's the pain while you're doing it, and then the release that comes, and then afterwards you feel everything starts to flow better, doesn't it?
Exactly. And then there's the discipline, there's the idea of not comparing yourself or your postures with your colleagues or indeed your teacher. So there's just so much to learn through.
So the big question here is, do you still do yoga?
Yes, religiously every week with the same yoga teacher.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I think it's very important to find the right person for you.
Exactly.
The right teacher for you, rather. The right teacher is going to have a similar sort of value as you and to help propel you on this path.
Yes.
Rather than someone who just does it for, good looks or.
Exactly. No, she's, she's deeply spiritual, and she kind of does teachings as well at the beginning and meditations, which just makes it a very rounded experience for me. And that's my sacred time. That's the time that I really kind of.
So I guess we could say that the yoga practice after that shock and initial grief got you back into your body.
Yes.
What was the sort of next step? Because you're way advanced than just a yogi right now.
Yeah. So I realized that there was something there that was really benefiting me in terms of how I was managing my stress, how I was managing with my grief. Also at work, I seemed a lot calmer, so I could really start to see those benefits. And I knew that there was something in the meditation that was really helping me.
Okay.
So I started practicing guided meditation, just picking YouTube videos and, just spending time alone and just kind of listening through those guided meditations, which I was really enjoying. And that then started to become my daily practice.
So trusting your intuition, your gut to find the right meditation to listen to.
Yeah, so that's what I started initially, but then I kind of evolved to silent meditations. So I started doing silent meditations just on my own for 5-10 minutes, and I just found so much peace. And, the idea of meditation is not to shun away your thoughts. That's impossible for us humans, right? But
especially these days. I mean, yeah, especially these days.
Exactly. So I was kind of just then thinking, like, it just quietens the mind and I can connect to the here and now, because ultimately that's all we've got. And those meditations, the silent ones, started becoming deeper and deeper for me. So I started seeing colors and shapes, and I really felt like each time I was gonna getting deeper and deeper.
Which
And
I'm sure you were going deeper and deeper.
yes, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And then one day I just set the intention that what if I was to connect with my dad's soul?
Okay.
And I just set the intention and, just went into the meditation as I always do. And I connected with my dad. So that was one of the most kind of profound moments for me. And, you know, I channeled messages, which,
Let's go because a lot of people who listeners won't know that you connected, but did you feel? Did you sense? Did you know? Did you hear? What was the process? Because this is what's fascinating. Because
yeah.
we all experience life differently, and we all see it through our own eyes and our own ears and our own sense of touch. But for you, how do you know you were connected to your father?
So for me, the kind of psychic I am, I don't see visual images. I just have a knowing.
Knowing, yeah.
Yeah. It's
So
almost
that inner knowing.
yeah, it's actually very difficult for me to describe the sense. It's almost like a
Good. I'm glad to hear that because it's an inner knowing. It's not a visual.
yes.
It's not hearing somebody,
No.
right? And it's not necessarily a feeling. It's just a knowing. But do you know that that inner knowing is some of the most accurate psychic abilities that you can have? Because you bypass the imagination, you
Hmm.
bypass what you think your ears are hearing, and you bypass what you think your body is feeling. So
Yes.
you're just going straight to knowing. And
Yes.
then someone will say to you, how do you know? And you'll say, I don't know how I know. I just know.
That's it.
And is that not a beautiful gift right there?
It's an amazing gift. Absolutely amazing.
And fast as well.
Very fast. Yeah. As long as you don't allow your mind to kind of jump in and say,
Yeah.
really? Are you sure? Are you serious? So, yeah, like when I connected with him, he, some messages were shared, which I then shared with my family. And of course, them all being very spiritual, they accepted it straight away.
Well, that's also good, isn't it? Because if they hadn't, it would have made you doubt it, wouldn't it?
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
so they were almost waiting for that.
Exactly. Yeah. So they straight away kind of accepted everything. And at the time, though, selfishly, I did think, why was there not a message for me?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And, you know, over time, I've realized that I'm that bridge, I'm that channel. So it's okay. Like I'm the postman. So I deliver the messages.
And you're okay with being the postman, or should we say
Yeah,
post woman, or
I've come to terms with it. Yes. Um, People have asked me, have you ever asked him directly when you're in those meditations, And that is something I've never done. Um, it's, I don't know how to explain it, but it's so sacred for me that I almost feel like it's selfish to ask for me. So,
it's what a beautiful way of working. And I think I really love the fact that you're keeping the whole thing sacred and unpolluted,
yeah,
unpolluted with your own mind, wants and desires. You're right, because we all want answers, don't we? We all want to get someone to give us the answers or find a way to get the answers as quickly as easily, especially in today's modern world where everything's happening immediately and nothing's happening as fast as we want it to happen. And so to have this sacred space where you can go in and communicate and ask on behalf of other people without your mind getting in the way, I think that's absolutely beautiful. I think that's amazing. Don't ever change that, right? Because I'm sure there's other mediums out there that could probably give you the answers that you might want if you were looking and had
Yes,
questions.
and I've done that.
Mm.
On multiple occasions, I've gone to other psychic mediums and I've connected with my dad through that way.
So you're still getting the messages, but through somebody else.
Yes, and that's, you know, I see that as a full circle, really.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
so yeah, it's just putting my ego to one side. I think initially I used to kind of wonder why is there nothing for me? Maybe this time when I connect with him, there'll be something for me, you know. But I've just learned to kind of calm down that ego and just think, well, no, that's not what.
So this journey started around about 8 years ago. You're now seeing people on a regular basis.
I am now. It's been a journey
Mm.
because I had, you know, I found out I had this ability, but I didn't even name it.
Okay.
I decided to take, I guess, a safer route by doing a spiritual life coaching course.
Well, that's what that's what I thought about it, and I thought you're more than just a coach. You're not a life coach, you know. Um, and so that's why I'm so fascinated to hear about the other side, because
I
that's where
think,
the real magic is, isn't it?
yes, I think for me, it was, I know this is going to sound a bit odd, but I just felt quite hypocritical because I used to say to my sisters, don't go to these psychics or these tarot card readers. No. So, and then a safer option of being a spiritual life coach seemed like, you know, that seems like a sensible thing to do. So I started, I don't know if you've heard of Sahara Rose.
Yes.
So I started her Dharma coach 6-month program. And with the cohort that I was in, there was a lady, Italian lady that I connected with, and we used to, each week we used to do kind of practices on each other, you know, because Sahara had said, look, outside of the sessions, I really want to make sure that you're, you know, buddy up with somebody. And
Yes, and continue to work on yourselves because that's how you learn and grow, isn't it?
exactly.
Mm.
And over those 6 months, you know, we got really close, and it was our safe container. And you know, she was sort of knew everything about my life, and I knew everything about her, and all the rest of it. And then one day, I decided to tell her about this thing that I do
On the side.
on the side, and she just said, straight away said to me, "So you're a psychic?" And I went, yeah, well, I guess, you know, and I couldn't even say the word psychic at the time. I was like, oh, well, yeah, I mean, I just connected to my dad, you know. And she's like, you're a psychic.
Mm.
And she said to me, next week you're going to do a psychic reading on me. And I said, no way. I said, no, that's not going to work. And I said, look, I've only done it with my dad, and the messages have been from my family. And I mean immediate family, so not
Yeah,
your.
yes.
And so I said, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. I can't do it outside of that. And she said, well, have you ever tried? And I said, no. And she said, well, you're going to try next week. And she goes, what's the worst that's going to happen? You'll fail.
Mm.
But we're in a safe space.
Safe space for someone you know and like and trust already.
Exactly. So I thought, okay, I'll give it a go. And I did. And I connected with her granddad, and I shared messages from her granddad to her. And yeah, at the end of it, she said to me, you're really selfish. She said, you've got a gift that can help people and you're not willing to share it with anybody. And I think that was a pivotal moment for me that made me realize that actually, yeah, maybe I need to explore this, you know. So
That little blunt kick that told you that you were not serving. Mm.
yeah. So yeah, I guess at that point I thought it was a pull for me. Like, and this is the thing with the psychic mediumship. It's not something I've trained in. I'm not taking any courses on it. I never wanted to be a psychic medium. It's just come to me.
But think about how good that is from the perspective of never having wanted it, never having gone to psychics, never having gone to the tarot card reading. You don't have any preconceived ideas about what it is. And I think it's so refreshing to hear that it's just come to you and you've had to figure it all out yourself. You haven't read somebody else's book that was written in the 19th century that says this is the process. You haven't done it in the 80s and the 90s and the 2000s. You've done it in the 21st century, brought in for you in the new, and figured it all out yourself. Now, wow, that is so empowering, and what a beautiful way to do it. Although I'm sure at the time it felt very scary and very unknown, and what if I screw it up, and all those sort of fears.
Definitely, yeah. But I honestly believe everybody is a psychic. Everybody. We've just lost that ability to connect to our intuition.
I wouldn't say we've lost it. We just turned it off or turned the volume down. You know, I think we all connect to it at some points in our lives. When we're just talking to someone, we find ourselves daydreaming, but carry on talking. And then that person turns around and said, "That's how do you know that about me?" And you going, "I don't know what I said because I was daydreaming and I was just talking to you." And I think we all do that, but we're just not conscious of it. So it just gets forgotten about. You know, and I think it's just, it is, there's got to be a desire though. If you've got no desire or no experience, then you're not going to believe it. You're not going to go there. But it's by having that little desire, that little want to know, that starts the process. Because I'm very much like you, by the way. I know. I know straight away. And now, because I've known, I've started to train myself to see and to hear. Right? So someone could say to me, "What color is my aura?" And I'll go, "Green." And then I go, "How do I know it's green?" Well, then I had to start to look. And then I'd see that actually that knowingness was right. And I now could see. And so now the seeing is almost like a double check, but it's not unnecessary. Does it make sense?
Yeah. Can you teach me to see?
I can, but probably not right now. In fact, well, let me start. It's very simple, actually. Use your imagination. If I could see what I know, what would it look like?
Yeah. So, like for me, you know, if you say to me, "Shut your eyes and imagine a green apple," I'll shut my eyes and I will not see the green apple, but I can describe to you exactly what it looks like.
Yes.
So, you know, I guess the next level is for me to actually see it.
Well, you do that. What you're saying, that describing what you're seeing. So it's almost like the apple was up here, and as soon as you started to imagine it, you put the apple into knowingness. So you drop that apple out of your head, boom. So you saw the apple for a fraction microsecond, okay? And then you dropped into your heart, into your knowingness. And so then you could go, "Well, this is what it looks like." And so for you, what might be useful would be to ask yourself to slow down the image. So to, rather than seeing it for that microsecond, to slow down to half a second. And then to sort of almost put it up there and hold something up there for a second and then drop it and then hold it again and then drop it. And eventually that you'll sort of start to strengthen that sight part.
Yeah.
But again, like I say, your intuition, your knowingness will be the default, the path of least resistance. Remember, this information is always going to follow the path of least resistance. So if there's resistance in the way, maybe a fear of seeing, then it's not going to go that way because it's too difficult to get through. It can, but it's too difficult to work with the fear, and then that flow is easier. work with the fear of hearing, and yeah, and feeling. All these things have their ways. Some people will just hear because they're very auditory. They just know. That's how they operate. And most people is visual, and there's a few of us that are just this knowingness.
Yeah.
So that's amazing. I love the fact that that's just how you operate. And so now tell me, so now you're okay with dealing with most people, or are there people that you're like, no, I don't want to go anywhere near you?
I think I have experienced clients that are skeptical, and when that happens, I immediately find it difficult to connect with their energy. So
they put some sort of resistance in the place,
yeah,
so that you can't get there because they're scared or don't believe.
Yes, yeah. And I can feel that energy compared to other clients that are just so open.
Yeah.
And then I've got pages and pages of things to tell them, and I'm just feeling like, gosh, that there's so much to tell you.
Yeah, they've allowed you to open that door and to go in and get everything, and as much as you could for them, where the others are going, let's just test it by giving you a crack so you can maybe peek an eyeball through and see. Or no.
Exactly. And my readings, what I do is I focus on your current energy at this point in time. And then I'll give you guidance based on that. Now, some ask me for quite specific predictions, but I always say that you have free will and that the destiny is in your hands. And as soon as you decide to change your energy, you change your thoughts, you change your actions, and then your outcome will change. So that's my kind of guiding principle for my readings.
Because you're not telling someone their fortune. These are messages that can help them grow and find themselves and become more, I guess, empowered.
Yes. And on the mediumship side, it's, sometimes to give comfort. Sometimes it's reassurance. It can be closure. So,
I'm sure that each of those sort of family members have particular messages for the family, which is usually, I'm guessing, always positive and caring and loving.
Yes.
Even if they maybe hadn't been as loving in their lives as you thought.
Yeah, I mean, when I connect with souls, it's a very neutral energy.
Okay.
I don't feel like they have, any of the kind of emotions that we do as humans. It's very neutral. They can share those emotions that they've had when they were in the human form. But when I connect to the energy itself, it's very neutral.
Which makes sense. They're not living in duality anymore.
Yeah.
There aren't those extremes of love and hate and anger and, joy on one side and everything else we have in between, right? So I guess they don't have that, but they're still able to experience those good emotions. So I love it. I'm absolutely fascinated by this whole process and the journey you've been through. But if we could take a step back, who is the person behind the psychic? Who is the person behind the medium? So when you haven't got that, I'm in my medium zone, I'm in my, reading zone, in my knowingness zone, who is Nimi behind that? I know it's quite a difficult question. I'm sorry. I want to know the human.
It's a tricky one, but I mean, I wear so many hats, so many responsibilities, I'm a mother. I have 2 kids, teenage kids. Yeah. So yeah.
And do your children teach you?
Oh yeah, children always teach.
Or they're the age where you just can't wait to get rid of them. I don't know.
No. They're always teaching me.
They're always teaching you.
Always teaching me. Yes. Yeah.
Showing you different ways of looking at the world.
Exactly. So yeah, it's a quite a tricky question, actually.
I think we all are forced to, I guess, put on various masks or various hats throughout our life. And some of those hats we enjoy wearing and some we don't. And nobody's life is straightforward and black and white, is it? You know, it's there's various shades of gray that we're always having to live.
That's right, yeah.
So if you had to explain it, so would you find yourself being someone, now that you've sort of discovered this sort of psychic aspect to you, are you more in tune with the world around you, with yourself, with your family, with your deities that you have? Is there any particular favorite ones?
They're coming in phases. So last year I was connected to Kali Ma.
Yes.
And then this year Shiva seems to.
Okay.
So I'm very much connected to Shiva, particularly with my angelic Reiki. So yeah,
so I guess Kali was just sort of a lot of the purging and uplifting and releasing and clearing and allowing yourself to clean up some of the baggage that hadn't been addressed in all those years.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, the beauty of this journey is it's really allowed me to do the inner work. So I was bullied as a child in school, and then subsequently bullied again in the corporate world. So yeah, I think those aspects made me realize that actually being quiet, blending in, staying in my box is what keeps me safe. And I've had
to really
worked kind of really.
Well, I'm going to question you on that one, because does it really keep you safe?
Well, that was the old me.
Oh, okay. Because I'm thinking, no, that doesn't make sense with the person I'm seeing in front of me.
Yeah, that was me before, I took on this journey.
Yes.
So, when you ask about like, has it made me connect to myself better? 100%. Because it's made me realize that actually that doesn't really stand, and that I can be my authentic self in whatever shape or form. And, some people will accept that and some people won't, and that's totally okay.
100%. There's 8 billion people on the planet. You don't need all of them to like you. Yes. I guess that the inner work is so important, isn't it? To clear out some of the stuff that you've been carrying around, or the beliefs that you've been carrying around for years. That whether you've took them on consciously or unconsciously, to allow them to be released and for you to be able to stand in your truth and your space and your power.
Yes.
And I guess being comfortable speaking as a psychic, as a medium, that must have been quite a huge jump from someone was sort of in the box and quite shy and reserved. And to want people to suddenly, people wanted you to tell them rather than the other way around.
Yes. And this is why I say I never chose it. It chose me.
No, you chose it. I'm sure you chose it.
Maybe.
You just chose to forget who chose it.
Yes, it could well be, yeah. But, I'm really into manifestation as well. And I believe that in order to manifest your desires, your starting point has to be the inner work.
Yes.
To create the space to let go of those limiting beliefs or stories, to then, have the law of attraction working in your favor to bring in those desires.
Okay, I'm going to really put you on the spot here.
Go on.
Give me your top 3 things tools to how to manifest.
Wow. Okay.
Well, you've given the first one already, which is to clear out the baggage. Okay.
Yeah.
To empty yourself of all the traumas and beliefs and fears that you have. So
Clear
that's self-work. Number 1 is self-work.
Yeah. Being crystal clear in terms of what you want to manifest. Because if you don't communicate that to the universe, then it's going to get confused. So be really, really clear on what it is you want to manifest. Have that feeling.
So we've got
The wish fulfilled.
So we've got the communication. So how would you communicate with the universe, with source, with God, with whatever you wish to call it?
So I say out loud. I do affirmations. I absolutely love scripting. Um, it's one of my favorite things to do. And that's actually, so for the viewers that don't know what scripting is, it's like journaling but on steroids. Is how I describe it.
Yes.
But essentially, it's writing in the present tense of that desire as if it's already fulfilled.
Mm. And I think, there's something really magical about picking up a pen and being able to write it down. And then I like what you said about speaking it as well.
Yeah.
Because I think for a lot of people, they have this idea of what they want to manifest, this thought. But when they actually say it or write it down, it doesn't make sense. So if they're thinking about this thing that they want, but when they actually say it out loud or write it down on a piece of paper, it doesn't make any sense. And then they've got this opportunity to go like, "Ooh, I've got to change it because it doesn't actually work."
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. And then feelings are so important. What does it feel like to have that desire? What emotions come up in your body? It's so important to engage all of your senses. What does it feel like? What does it smell like? What does it taste like? So you really kind of then
what does it know like?
Yes, what does
Yes.
it feel like? Yes, exactly. Yeah. So
Yeah. That's fascinating. That's lovely because I think as humans are very good at taking things and making them very complicated when they don't really have to be. And that's why I said three things, because you could probably give me 20 things, and three things makes it quite short and quite simple.
Yes.
Because if I've got a list of 20 things to do, I don't do any of them.
Yes.
It's just, I think human nature is like overwhelm. There's 20 things I've got to do. Where do I start?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, true.
So let's cut out the list, bring it down to three things. We can do that. We can handle that.
Yeah.
Especially in today's sort of really chaotic and busy world where none of us just does one thing. Nobody's just doing one thing.
True.
So if there was, let's say there's someone who wants to get into this sort of idea of connecting with family members that have passed, or maybe wants to get into sort of develop their psychic abilities, what would you recommend as a step they take?
I'd say to really silence their mind. Really kind of sit in silence.
So I always tell people sometimes that if they want to find a moment of silence, to take the space between the breath. When you've breathed in, the silence before you breathe out. And then they can feel that silence.
Yes.
And then they can hold that silence for the out breath after time, and then they become silent. And then, of course, listening to how noisy silence actually is.
Yes. Yeah, very true. So,
Yeah.
I mean, with my meditations, I always have the cloud. So if I have any thoughts like, what's for dinner tonight? Then I'll put that on the cloud and say, okay, I'll come back to that and just let it just move along. But yeah, I would also say that connecting with the present moment, because that's all we have. So whatever shape or form that is for you, to just have that mindfulness to connect with the here and now is probably one of the most important aspects.
I always used to ask my students where they were on the day. Where was their mind? Was it in the future about what we're going to learn today, what we're going to do today? Or was it in the past? But wherever you are on that journey, to think about the future, you have to bring it into the present, to think about it. To think about the past, you have to take it from the past and bring it into the now to have it in your mind.
Yes.
You have to be in the moment. But just be aware that you're in the moment. You can bring things from the past or the future into the now, which doesn't really help you in the now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sort of in a bizarre way.
Yeah. True.
At the same time, I'm not saying that goal planning and dealing with your past is not but you shouldn't be living from that point.
Exactly. But again, if you look at it from a manifestation lens, then you bring it here in the reality, in your here and now.
Yes.
You live like it's already.
Yes. You want money. Don't go and buy the cheapest candle you can find. Spend some money on it.
Exactly. Again,
And also, I think for a lot of people, it's about where they think the manifestation is going to come from. Don't limit it to a certain direction or a certain way. Be open to the miracles of life, that manifestation could come from anywhere.
That's it.
It's most likely going to be highly unlikely there's going to be the check through the front door, right? But of course, those are the stories that make it all famous, don't they? I was sitting meditating, wanting a new job, and in came a check through the front door, and from some lost distant relationship. Well, yeah, 1 in a billion. Go for it. Well done. You've got it. Okay. The rest of us, we're going to have to do something about something else.
Exactly. I always say to my clients, don't focus on the how. That's not your job. That's for the universe to figure the how. All you have to do is take that one step. Just focus on that one next step that you're going to take today that's going to get you closer to that desire.
It's simple. It's action. Taking action. One small action. And it doesn't have to be massive.
Yeah, that's it.
I think when people plan these sort of big goals, they see them at these huge mountains and they look up at it and they just can't get there. It's just too big. You've got to start with one small step.
Exactly.
And it's okay that step is only one step on a 10,000 step journey.
Yeah.
Taking one step. Yeah.
And I always look at your goal, look from your goal.
Okay.
So it's already achieved, it's already done. Now, what are the steps you need to do to get there?
Yes. And also, people it's the journey that is what matters, not the goal. Because when people have achieved their goal, what have they got? A moment of fame, a medal around their neck. But that's it. It's literally a moment. It's that sort of 7 seconds or whatever it is of importance, and then it's gone. What comes next? And there's the whole journey that's the growing and expanding and the learning process. And that's where the real fun actually is, in that journey of getting to that goal.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I think so many of us keep our goals very small, very achievable.
It's because of the fear of failure. We don't want to fail.
Yeah, and of course we've never failed before, have we? Right? No, of course you. No. I mean, you got out of the nappy and you started walking and running straight away. We all did that, didn't we? We were riding bicycles before we could walk.
Of
right?
course.
We never failed. We never fell. We never grazed a knee or an elbow.
No.
God forbid that we grazed a knee while trying to walk.
Exactly.
And I think that's a real point there, because I think so many people get fearful about what other people are going to say about their failures or their attempts at failing. And that's really something we've got to change in I guess the personal development world, is It's okay to fail.
Yes.
None of us is ever going to be perfect.
Yeah.
You're never going to give the perfect reading to somebody.
True.
But to the person receiving it, it's going to be perfect.
Yes.
Because it's exactly what they need to hear.
Exactly.
And yeah, they might want another 10 minutes, or they might want a little bit more, or they might want a little bit less, but it's absolutely perfect in its imperfect state.
It's so true. And, when you're worried about people judging you, then it's also a mirror to see, like, are you judging yourself?
Well, if you're judging you, well, whatever's inside of you is going to be reflected back at you. I often say to people, if you are pure light, all you're going to reflect is pure light.
Yeah.
Which means all you're going to get back, reflected back at you, is pure light.
Yeah.
In that place, there's nothing that's going to be able to harm you because you're reflecting light back. But if you have a fear that's gnawing at your mind, a worry, a concern, an issue, and that's in your mind, and you're going to project that outwards, it's going to be reflected back at you, but amplified.
Yes.
And why is it amplified? So you can deal with it and do something about it.
Exactly.
And what do most humans do? Run and hide from it.
All right.
Yeah. The universe is giving you this perfect opportunity to deal with it, and you go, no, I don't want to deal with it right now. I'm going to bury it for a little bit longer
and hope it goes away.
Hope it goes away. And does it ever go away? Not until you confront it. No. And then when you do finally confront it, you realize actually it wasn't that big.
Yes.
It didn't consume me.
It wasn't so scary. Yeah.
No. Yeah. Yeah. So, future for you. Who do you need to meet? Where do you see yourself? Where are you living from? What is the goal that you're living from, looking backwards? Turn around on you, you see. So this is about you, not me.
I just want to be there to support as many women as I can to transform, for them to step into their power, for them to realize they can manifest their desires, for them to overcome their limiting beliefs, and for them to know that they're God's highest form of creation. And that's my mission.
Amazing. Amazing. So, final question. What one thing would you tell a new client?
Just anything. What would I say to them?
Yeah, okay. I'm your new client. Here I am.
Yeah, I think I
don't know anything about you. I know that my friend's been to see you and they say you're really amazing, but you do some sort of psychic stuff. What would you tell me?
I would say to them to really anchor into the power of awareness.
Power of awareness.
Because it's only when you have awareness of something that you can do something about it.
That is so true. If you don't see it, you don't know about it.
Yeah.
Wow. The power of awareness. To take the mask off and have a look.
Yes.
Notice yourself. I guess notice yourself in the reflections of others as well, perhaps.
Exactly, yeah.
Nimi.
It's all that introspective work, isn't it, really?
It all goes back to that, doesn't it? Yep. Do the self-work, number one. Nimi, thank you for taking time out of your day to join me on this.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
It's been an enlightening journey, and I've loved our conversation.
Me too.
And it's a process for me as well, because I'm certainly no real podcast host.
You're a natural.
Playing along as it feels right, as the energy flows us, going down the rabbit holes if we need to or not, and being human about it and saying the wrong things as well. And that's okay, because we're allowed to, because we're not perfect.
Exactly.
And we never will be perfect. And that's a beautiful thing, because it takes that pressure off, doesn't it? You can actually just be you
Mm.
and not, I'm not saying don't care what other people think, but don't take too much to heart. Have an amazing evening,
Thank you so much.
and I'll catch you on the next one.
Thank you.